Tonight, a renewable energy park gets the green light to expand, giving the site the capacity to generate 1.2 gigawatts of energy. And we take to the skies as Becca Helicopters sets up base in the Steel City.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. It's been labelled the power station of the future, and now the Port Augusta Renewable Energy Park has received government approval to expand. It means once both construction phases are complete, the site will have the capacity to generate 1.2 gigawatts of energy.
Transforming Port Augusta from this to this. The government has signed off on stage 2 of the Renewable Energy Park, giving DP Energy the MO to stake its claim as the power station of the future.
That really provides the network functions of traditional fossil fuel generation but powered by renewable energy.
Stage 2 plans will mean an addition of 500 megawatts of solar PV, as well as 400 megawatts of battery storage, to support an existing 375 megawatts of solar and wind power in stage 1.
Both projects are hybrid in that they don't use just one technology.
And when energy is not needed, it will be stored in the batteries, helping stabilise the grid and reduce the amount of blackouts. The huge capacity for energy generation has been freed up by the closure of Port Augusta's Northern Power Station.
There's grid capacity up at Davenport substation, and so it allows projects like ours to connect into that.
To be able to replace what we did have with renewable energy is just fantastic news.
DP Energy is well progressed into gaining financial closure for stage 1 of the project. They say these discussions could be finalised by the end of this year, with construction to begin in 2019.
Just adds another string and it's really good for Port Augusta.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Becca Helicopters has begun the process of setting up in Whyalla, with 80 jobs to move from Queensland's Sunshine Coast to the region. Our reporter John Hunt took to the skies today as the company makes its services available to the local community.
It's a small helicopter, but its presence in Whyalla is a big step forward for the community. This Bell 206 Jet Ranger is Becca Helicopters' first aircraft based in the city, as it begins moving its operations into town. Once settled later this year, it'll provide pilot training across commercial and military aspects, creating 80 jobs.
Training we offer starts at the basic handling through advanced handling, navigation, nighttime, instrument flying, NVG, formation, tactical navigation.
Eventually, it'll host over a dozen different choppers that can fit anywhere from 4 to 7 people. Aaron is the first company person on the ground and says Whyalla has fantastic flying conditions and scenery. He's also thankful for the support from the community.
Everyone goes out of their way and above and beyond to help me and my family out. It's really nice to see, and I think other people are excited.
And soon the public will get the chance to take to the skies. As well as pilot training, Becca offers services to the public and private businesses across the region. Today's flight was on a route that'll soon be available to locals.
Open up flights to the community and get people on board to travel to Whyalla, service the mines, and like you mentioned, we can offer the executive transport.
All that remains now is for locals to get on board.
We're ready to go. Come see us, come say hi, let's go flying.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Regional airliner Rex has taken aim at QantasLink and Virgin Australia for poaching its pilots amidst a global shortage. It claims the airlines are contributing to chaos in regional air travel by plundering Rex's standby pilot pool instead of training their own. A large number of regional flights across the country have been cancelled at the last minute this year due to the pilot shortage. Other regional carriers like Air North and the Royal Flying Doctor Service have also been affected by the lack of pilots. A mining company operating a project near Broken Hill has signed a binding letter of intent with a Canadian company to help in its exploration. Impact Minerals is teaming up with Bluebird Battery Metals to focus on its wide-reaching project in the region.
5 licences covering about 720 odd square kilometres, so we're one of the larger ground holders in the Broken Hill region, and we've put that together over the last 3 or 4 years during the downturn.
The partnership will be targeting gold, nickel and particularly cobalt, which is a key component in batteries, with the precious resource in high demand from international companies.
We've certainly got potential for significant cobalt on our ground. and that's one of the key metals that's going to be used in the battery industry going forward.
Impact will be looking to progress with further test drilling by the end of the year. The Port Augusta Council and Country Arts SA have entered into a funding agreement that will see the creation of a new full-time Aboriginal arts and cultural facilitator role. The role will aim to build the Yatta Putley Cultural Centre into a regional Aboriginal cultural hub.
Yatta Putley has been at the centre of a number of key Aboriginal art projects, and now its reputation as an Aboriginal hub has been bolstered by the announcement of a full-time Aboriginal arts and cultural facilitator.
It's actually tremendous. It's 3 years worth of funding and a commitment.
Funding for the position was split evenly with Country Arts SA, with the hope of creating artistic and cultural growth within the town.
We're really anticipating that this position will build capacity within the Aboriginal community, particularly in the arts area.
The announcement comes as part of the Country Arts SA Creative Communities Partnership. Port Augusta's ambition and drive for cultural success made it an application hard to ignore.
Port Augusta is so well positioned, I suppose, to for so many Aboriginal artists and communities. I mean, it's an important place.
The Cultural Centre has already held huge displays of Aboriginal art, including the Mulca Aboriginal Art Prize and the Limitless exhibition, with the aim of this role set to further increase the amount of Aboriginal culture in Port Augusta.
Arts really do assist in the representation of culture, and this is a very important move for the local Aboriginal community.
The position is being currently advertised and applications close next month. Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
The local Port Lincoln brewery may have only been crafting beer for less than 2 years, but it's already gaining attention with a string of new awards. Beer Garden Brewing toppled some big names to win 2 champion titles at the recent Royal Adelaide Beer and Cider Awards.
Port Lincoln might not be known for its brewing, but it's certainly gaining a name for itself now.
Presented our beers at Beer and Barbecue Festival and also entered the Royal Adelaide Beer and Cider Awards and picked up a few awards, so it was fantastic. 70 odd brewers that were there, I think, from largely South Australia, but quite a few national brewers and even a few from overseas.
Beer Garden Brewing took out champion titles in the 2 popular craft beer categories.
The Cage Diver IPA, so that's our biggest beer that we've got here, and that took out champion IPA, which is amazing. That's the one that the craft beer crew are all looking out for, and then also the Section 49 wheat beer took out champion wheat. So we were thrilled.
The pair say winning the prestigious awards means people will take the small brewery more seriously.
Over 15,000 people attend, so it's an amazing way for us to get Adelaide to taste our beer.
And awards bring a bit more credibility than you otherwise might get, because being a regional brewer, it is hard to sort of prove yourselves in the eyes of tourists.
While going from strength to strength, there's already a new brew in mind.
They're looking to get a double IPA brewed, so it's a stronger version of basically the Cage Diver, but it'll be a different taste as well.
Well, with all this award-winning local beer on offer, I suppose I better give it a try. Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
Italian shipbuilder Fincantieri has canned an order for ship blocks that were being built in Whyalla. In April, the company signed a deal with Ottaway Engineering to build 3 new cruise ships. If they were successful in the frigate contract, they were open to expanding the partnership. However, with BAE winning the contract, the company has pulled the pin but says it'll fulfil the rest of its contractual obligations. Stay with us. Still to come on Southern Cross News tonight, a popular plan for Broken Hill's Patton Park wins the support of the town's younger generation. Plus, how a local Croatian community is planning to celebrate this weekend's World Cup final. Those stories next. Spencer Gulf Cities will host a visit from the State Planning Commission this week. On the agenda will be issues with planning regulations around renewable energy projects. The energy industry is growing in the region with a number of new projects underway. Chair Sam Johnson says while the region supports new developments, regulations need to ensure projects won't negatively impact local communities. Whyalla's small business initiatives have received praise from the Industry Commissioner. John Chapman made the remarks at the last EPLGA board meeting in Whyalla last week. He says the Renew Whyalla concept, along with plans for a small business hub with steps in the right direction. He's also confident of the town's economic future, saying after a few lean years, things are looking up. Broken Hill's younger generation has played a major role in designing a new playground in the city's south. A touch of 90s nostalgia will soon return to Patton Street Park after local kids decided they liked the retro rocket design the most.
Ready for liftoff.
Yeah, the rocket ended up getting up by 7 votes, which was, very, very close, probably a lot closer than we expected.
Council recently released 3 concepts for a new playground to be built in Patton Park. All 3 concepts included a Mars lander, a castle and rocket ship, with all of the designs creating quite the buzz.
Yeah, the kids were really keen to get involved, and we got great help from all the schools and the teachers as well. We'd ran something on Facebook and also gone out to all the preschools and the daycare centres out the south here, and we got a huge amount of feedback.
Council received over 600 responses during its consultation phase, with the majority being kids. After tallying the results, it was a tight-knit race. The Mars lander recording 259 votes, but it was the rocket which took off, winning by 7 points.
I think a lot of the parents did sort of like the nostalgia aspect of the rocket, but again, being parents, they want their kids to be in the shade, so we've taken that on board. So even though the rocket design was successful, we'll now go back to the designer and see if they can make some modifications to bring a bit more shade into the rocket design.
Council has also progressed with designs for a new toilet block and barbecue area. It hopes to have something for councillors to vote on at the upcoming meeting.
So it's now a matter of getting one overall design together and taking that to council so that they can have their say on it as well. That will probably be the August council meeting, we imagine.
Patrick Ryankey, Southern Cross News.
Well, Australia may have had little luck in this year's FIFA World Cup, but much of Port Lincoln couldn't be more proud of Croatia silencing England. The thrilling World Cup semi-final win means Croatia will play in the final against France, with local fans to host a special screening.
A local patriotic crowd, proud of their small yet mighty country.
We are so emotional and happy and proud, like a small nation, so proud.
A substantial amount of the Port Lincoln community is made up of Croatians and their families, leaving many on the edge of their seats during the World Cup clash against England.
I did think we'd have to go to penalties. That sort of seemed to be the case in a few of these matches, but we took it home and it was just like, oh my God, it's awesome.
With lounge rooms filled and tensions running high, Port Lincoln was proud to be part of the small country's success.
It's something we all kind of unite over, and it's a nice way to bring us all together.
It's just amazing. Lifts us up another level, another notch. It's a very small country, not much population, 4.2 or something million. And for this, for this achievement, it really does bring us world recognition.
So for those willing to stay up in the early hours of Monday morning to battle France in the final,
it's going to be exciting. I hope we get it together at the club on Monday morning in the early hours to watch it with all our the whole community.
The drinks will be flowing at the Croatian club from 11 p.m. on Sunday night.
Come on, Croatia, bring it home!
Casey Trelaw, Southern Cross News.
The weekend's upon us, so it's time for this week's footy tips.
Hello and welcome to round 11 of SGL football. This round starts with Central hosting Solly's at Port Augusta's Central Oval. I'm tipping Solly's. In Pirie on Saturday, it's Port taking on the Lions at Port Oval. I'm tipping Port. The final match of the weekend sees the still undefeated South taking on bottom place West. I'm tipping South to continue their unbeaten run.
We're back after a week off from Whyalla football. Big game on Saturday at Bennett Oval. It's North Whyalla versus West Whyalla, the top 2 teams. Last time they played it was a draw. Could be that again. I think West have had a little bit better form in the last few weeks, so they should be favourite. Saturday's game at Memorial Oval at South Whyalla versus Rapina. Roos almost got over the top of North Whyalla last week, but they take on a pretty good South team. They're sitting in the top 4 and South favourites here. And finally on Sunday at Bennett Oval, it's Central Whyalla versus Runa Bay. Centrals are getting their act together. They're kicking some goals finally. The forward line is functioning, and I think this might be a chance for an upset, so we'll go with the Roosters.
Broken Hill football this week sees West take on Central at the Memorial Oval. Central will be up and about. Congratulations to Justin Heath paying $300 for the Magpies. They'll certainly be looking for the win. West, on the other hand, will be looking for a win, but I think Centrals will be far too strong in this game. Second game sees South come over the hill to play North at the Jubilee Oval. North will be looking to knock the Southerners off, but the South have been far too strong in the season and have not lost a game and won't lose this one. It'll be South by an easy 50 to 60 points.
Stay with us after the break. Amy will have all the local weather details. And will the Spencer Golf be enjoying a sunny weekend again, Amy?
It sure will be, Fraser, with this lovely winter weather continuing for a little longer. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. Well, what a winter's day it was around the region, with sunny conditions in all centres. 17 the top for Port Augusta, 16 in Whyalla and Port Lincoln. Broken Hill was slightly cooler with a high of 13 degrees. Taking a look at the satellite now, and a few lingering coastal showers in the southeast. Skies are remaining clear elsewhere under a large high pressure system, which is leading to cold overnight temperatures and frost inland. If you're spending your weekend out on the waters, northerly winds will pick up between 15 and 20 knots, with seas reaching only half a metre. For the early risers, sunrise is at 7:23, while it will set at 5:27. Checking tomorrow's forecast, and the sunshine is set to continue for most districts despite the low overnight temperatures. Port Augusta and Whyalla reaching 19 degrees, possible showers for Coffin Bay and 16. Possible showers extending into early next week in Port Lincoln, with temperatures hitting 15 on Tuesday. Cleve could also see some showers on and off over the next couple of days, as will Woodnah with a top of 17 early next week. A fine few days coming up in Whyalla, with temperatures sitting in the high teens. Port Augusta will hit 20 on Monday before a fine 19 for Tuesday. Meanwhile in Kadina, showers are looking like they'll develop early next week. Possible showers for Port Pirie on a Sunday before a fine start to the new working week. Cooler temperatures and showers forecast in Clare and 13 on Tuesday. And in Broken Hill, a run of sunny days extending into next week with tops of 17. So Fraser, for one last time, it is back to you, but the sunny conditions are set to stick around. It's been a pleasure to share the region's weather with you, and good luck on your new adventure.
Thank you, Amy, and I guess that makes it official, my last bulletin for Southern Cross. It's been an absolute honour and a privilege to bring you, the local viewers, the news over the past year. I want to thank you all for watching. I also just want to thank the incredible team I've been lucky enough to work with, both behind the scenes and our team of reporters who work so hard to bring you the latest every night. From Monday, I'll be leaving you in the hands of Abby Donaldson. So for the last time, thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.